The 21st edition of the FIFA World Cup will be held this summer in Russia. There is no bigger sporting event on earth than football's international championship, which draws more television viewers than even the Olympic Games. And the 2018 tournament is particularly notable for being the last before the current World Cup status quo will change. In 2022, the trophy will head to Asia for a controversial tournament in Qatar that will be the first to be played outside of the European summer due to concerns about the country's climate. And after that, the World Cup will complete its expansion to 48 teams and is likely to be held across 3 countries for the first time in 2026. Welcome. This is Betway to Russia, our official countdown to the 2018 World Cup. I am Promise Efoge. Babajide Olojade will be my guest on the show, and he is on his way here. While I await his arrival, let's take a message from our sponsors.
Betway, the premium online sports betting experience, is now live in Nigeria. Simply log on to betway.com.ng and bet on your favorite games and leagues right now. With Betway, betting is easy and convenient. There's no need to have cash. Just pay online, and we're open 24/7. Go to betway.com.ng now. Betway, for the love of the game.
During the course of this program series, we will feature every World Cup participating team with the aim of exposing so many things you do not know about these countries, their teams, and their World Cup history. On today's show, we will have the host country, Russia, under the microscope.
The Russian Federation is a sovereign nation. At 17,125,200 square kilometers, Russia is the largest country in the world by area, covering more than 1/8 of the Earth's inhabited land area and the 9th most populous, with over 144 million. The European western part of the country is much more populated and urbanized than the eastern. About 77% of the population live in European Russia. Russia's capital, Moscow, is one of the largest cities in the world. Other major urban centers include St. Petersburg, Novosibirsk, Yekaterinburg, Chelyabinsk, Nizhny Novgorod, Ufa, and Kazan. Extending across the entirety of Northern Asia and much of Eastern Europe, Russia spans 11 time zones and incorporates a wide range of environments and landforms. From northwest to southeast, Russia shares land borders with Norway, Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Belarus, Ukraine, Georgia, Azerbaijan, Kazakhstan, China, Mongolia, and North Korea. It shares maritime borders with Japan and the United States. The Russian economy ranks as the 12th largest by nominal GDP and the 6th largest by purchasing power parity. Russia's extensive mineral and energy resources are the largest such reserves in the world, making it one of the leading producers of oil and natural gas globally. The country is one of the 5 recognized nuclear weapon states and possesses the largest stockpile of weapons of mass destruction. There are over 160 different ethnic groups in Russia. The country's vast cultural diversity spans ethnic Russians with their Slavic Orthodox traditions, Tatars and Bashkirs with their Turkic Muslim culture, Buddhist nomadic Buryats and Kalmyks, shamanistic peoples of the extreme north and Siberia, highlanders of the northern Caucasus, and Finno-Ugric peoples of the Russian Northwest and Volga region. Tourism in Russia has seen rapid growth since the late Soviet period. Major tourist routes in Russia include a journey around the golden ring of ancient cities, cruises on the big rivers like the Volga. The most visited destinations in Russia are Moscow and St. Petersburg, the current and former capitals of the country.
Well, it is of note that Russia has more women than men. Pretty women, I guess. Babajide is here. He likes women, and I'm sure he will be in Russia, not just for the football, but for the women too.
Well, the networking base has to be increased, really. I mean, the level of entertainment as well. It's the World Cup, promise. There's no bigger sports spectacle anywhere in the world. It's the holy grail of football. It is the biggest box office known to mankind. Over 7.2 billion people in the world, and most of them will be in tune with the procedures of World Cup, especially as it happened in Russia. Quite
That's
controversial. The president of Russia has come out to say, you know, we're looking forward to selling the infrastructure, selling the tourism, selling the beauty of Russia, the Kremlins, the Petersburg. The infrastructures have been there, you know, is already done and dusted, and we're looking forward to an amazing World Cup, really.
Well, Russia boasts of a very beautiful tourist, destinations. So beyond the football and the pretty slim ladies, there will be a lot of places to visit.
Why are you emphasizing
there will be
on
a
the
lot
pretty...
of places to visit
Yes,
today.
there will. Yes, there will be. Interestingly, the Russian, Ministry of Tourism are coming out to say that it's going to be a jump in increase as compared to what we saw in South Africa and in Brazil. But the interesting thing about the World Cup, hosting the World Cup for developing nations, Russia is not a developing nation. Maybe that's why there's worry about the fact that they have a lot of economic challenges, just like Brazil in 2014.
That's true.
So maybe it could be another long-term effect, but one way or the other, for the sake of the game, for the prestige, a lot of times we see
most
World
important.
Cup, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
That's it. Well, Russia, with more than 144 million people, they will be expected to produce 23 excellent, footballers.
The sad thing about football, international football, promise, is the fact that they are not the players that play together every time, but they are the best players the country can offer. And in recent times, we've seen Russians, if you check their history, they've produced some amazing players. You know, in recent times, Karel Popovsky, you of course remember of great memories. What now?
Andrei Ashevins, the Pavlyuchenkovas.
But now Pavlyuchenko. But now they've got the likes of Alan Jaguev in the middle of the pack, and they've got Kokorin. They've got players coming through, but they've not really been that particular. They've not covered
been a dominant force.
They've not covered themselves up in glory. But the World Cup is not about covering themselves in glory. You may be pragmatic. They've got some great coaches that have come over the years, promise. Look like the likes of Gus Hiddink, Dick Advocat, Fabio Capello, coaches that have brought their own glitz, stints and consistency in different times of football. And once those coaches leave, the identity, the manner of which they like to set up their team to play stays with that particular team. And that right there for me is a huge plus for Russia. And they've got some great teams happening for them at the moment. The fans will be behind them every time we see it at the World Cup when the likes of South Africa, Brazil, Germany hosted the World Cup. The fans are always vociferous, they're always behind their team, and that could be a big plus.
Russia has participated in 10 World Cup tournaments. This record includes the period they were a part of the Soviet Union, and so they can be described as World Cup veterans who have never won the tournament. However, they recorded a 4th place finish at the Mondial in 1966, way back, and that has been their best outing at the World Cup till date. Russia are currently ranked 62nd, below the Super Eagles in the latest FIFA ranking, but a lot will be expected from them when they host the World.
The Russians have a tradition of excellence in the arts. They've produced some of the world's most original and creative writers, musicians and cinematographers. It has also been a powerhouse on the sporting stage for generations.
Russia contains Europe's longest river and is home to the world's deepest lake. In Russia, there are around 10 million more women than men. Yeah. And a Russian holds the record for the longest legs of any woman in the world. It's said that football was being played in the time of the last Tsars of Russia, with the first organised games played as far back as 1887. After the Russian Revolution, the sport continued to thrive, and pitches were laid in Red Square in 1942 and 1943 for games played during the May Day celebrations. Today, notable clubs include Dynamo Moscow, CSKA Moscow, and Zenit St. Petersburg. After the breakup of the Soviet Union, Russia played its first international in 1992.
2 years later, they walked out with Brazil at the FIFA World Cup in the USA, but failed to get beyond the group stage. The Soviet Union first appeared at the 1958 edition. With their renowned goalkeeper Lev Yashin, they reached the quarter-final stage, a feat they repeated in 1962. Their most successful campaign came in England 4 years later, when they reached the semi-final.
Oleg Salenko holds the record for the most number of goals in a single FIFA World Cup match after scoring 5 times against Cameroon in 1994. And a low point was their round of 16 4-3 defeat to Belgium in 1986. As the Soviet Union, they became the first team to receive a yellow card at the FIFA World Cup in 1970. Kaki Asatiani receiving a caution against Mexico. And in the same match, they became the first team to make a substitution at the FIFA World Cup.
Так и каких-то глобальных целей не надо ставить, надо жить сегодняшним днем, а что будет летом, будет все видно. Это будет зависеть от нашей подготовки, от нашего состояния на тот момент, что мы способны сделать, а что нет. Поэтому должны все факторы сложиться, чтобы дойти как можно дальше.
Betway, the premium online sports betting experience, is now live in Nigeria. Simply log on to betway.com.ng and bet on your favorite games and leagues right now. With Betway, betting is easy and convenient. There's no need to have cash. Just pay online, and we're open 24/7. Go to betway.com.ng now. Betway, for the love of the game.
The Russian team, may only be successful if cohesion and perhaps team play is guaranteed. When you look at the crop of players that they have, because you look at the squad and you can barely name one player as 5-star. Gone are the days of the likes of the Andrei Ashevin, the Pavlyuchenko, and of course Russia, we understand, usually favor the 5-3-2 playing formation.
Absolutely.
And it is expected that they would play at the World Cup using their usual playing format. Judith, let's see what the Russian current team looks like. Their, possible first 11 at any major competition at this point in time. Usually they would have veteran goalkeeper Igor Akinfev in goal, with Igor Smolnikov, Georgy Gikia, Viktor Vashin, and Fyodor Kudryshchanov, and Yuri Zhikov in the 5-man defense formation. Denis Glushikov, Dale Kuziev, and Alan Zhaguev, like you did mention, in midfield, while Fyodor Smolov and Alexander Kokorin will lead the attack. Well, of these players, goalkeeper Igor Akinfev will be the man others will be looking up to.
Igor Akinfev, he's been around. He's been around for quite a while.
He's 31 now.
He is 31, is in the other side of 30s. And one of the things that, the coach of this particular Russian side, Stanislav Chechorov, have been able to achieve is the fact that he's let go of the old guards. Ignashevich was now 38, 120 caps. It's been there, done that. Beresovsky as well. You look at that particular team, being able to replace those old guards with the new boys, Kodreshov and the other likes could actually mean good well for the team. But I like the fact that during the course of your opening statement, we established that they've not really had that star man. Alan Zhaguev is not really as potent as he used to be, but hey, he's always going to be in the mix for good things.
A good player, but not exceptional.
Yes, he is not exceptional. And in all fairness, how many Russians are indeed exceptional in the past couple of years? That's been the problem. And that now they have to go back to the basics, which is together everybody achieves more. That's what the team means.
That's it.
What that also means is that the 3-5-2 formation, the good thing for them anyways is that, Kokorin has actually been flying on a high this season so far. Fiadosmenov at the same time quite been consistent. But when you get to the World Cup, it's never about how good your teams play, it's about how well you can grind out results.
And that's the most important.
It's always important. That's why you see coaches like Fabio Capello, they would rather like the odd result. 1 goal, 1-0, 2-0, it's fine. They don't want to score.
The 3 point is most important.
Absolutely, and going forward and probably get into a decent place. Vladimir Putin would probably be happy if I thought they finished Final 4.
That's it. Okay, well, the captain, Igor Akinfev, I mean, he's been at the World Cup before and he knows what it means to play at that level. On the program today, let's get to know a lot more about Igor Akinfev.
The sun goes down, the stars come out.
Russia's star goalkeeper Igor Akinfev's intelligent performances for club and country has over time earned him comparisons with former esteemed Russian goalkeepers Lev Yashin and Rina Dasiev. He was born on the 8th of April 1986 in the town of Zhidnoye in Moscow Oblast. When he was 4 years old, his father sent him to the sports school of CSK, where he developed as a goalkeeper. Akinfev joined CSK Moscow at a young age of 5. He was with the club's youth setup before making his professional debut at 16. He spent his entire career at CSK, making more than 500 official appearances. He has won 6 Russian Premier League titles and 6 Russian Cups, as well as the UEFA Cup in 2005. On 14th May 2014, he overtook Lev Yashin as the goalkeeper with the 3rd highest number of clean sheets in Russian football. In 2015, he broke this clean sheet record with his 233rd career shutouts. In 2004, Akinfev made his debut for the Russian national team in a friendly match against Norway at age 18. He thus became the 3rd youngest player to compete for Russia after Eduard Stresov and Sergei Rodionov, and the youngest international footballer ever in the history of the Russian Federation. He now has 103 caps for his country and was named captain of Russia in March 2017 after the retirement of his predecessor Vasily Berezovsky.
When Saturday comes, I'll leave ya. I know the game. When Saturday comes, I'll leave ya. I know the game. We love to play. You walk, I'll follow the leader.
Today, certainly beyond making saves between the sticks, a lot more will be expected from Akinfev, in terms of providing leadership in the Russian team.
Absolutely. I mean, when you've played at the World Cup before, when you're a senior member in the team, it's by default that the younger boys, the younger lads who just get into the World Cup, for example, the Lokomotiv Moscow twins coming to that team, they're thinking, hey, we've not been here before. This man, Igor Akinfev, is a tough customer. He's been there, is furniture of this particular team. Under him, we can grow, we can get to know better. And then there's this huge level of respect. I mean, we could see that in that particular video. It helps us to profile a player like that. He's played at the Champions League at the top level for some of the biggest teams in Russia. So experience is not lacking. What is lacking, however, is the quality of players, because sometimes a goalkeeper is only as good as the quality of defense right in front of him. And Ignazevich had 120 caps, he's retired now these days. And how well will he be able to pass his inspiration to players that are just learning the ropes, a little bit of them? That's true. I think it's going to be for Akinfev as a player, for Akinfev as a captain, for Akinfev as a goalkeeper, for Akinfev as a Russian. is going to be a big, big decision.
Lots
of
really on his shoulders. Talking about Igor Akinfev, the captain of the Russian national team. Well, when France hosted the World Cup in 1998, despite parading the likes of Masoud Desailly, Zinedine Zidane, Lizarazu and others, no one gave them a chance to emerge winners of the tournament. But slowly and steadily, they mounted the podium. Can Russia do the same? What are pundits saying about their chances? Let's hear them on Viewpoint.
Sincerely speaking, I think I won't see Russia as part of the countries that are primed to win the World Cup. Again, historically, I think the last time they actually had fantastic outing was when they had goalkeeper Lev Yashin, who was a marvelous player. And ever since then, Russia had not come very close to showing a promise to win the World Cup. And 2018, I don't see them host and win.
Well, anything can happen in as far as sports is concerned, especially football. But when you are talking about the kind of talent they've got, I don't think Russia has it. You cannot compare Russia with other countries if we start mentioning them. But you see, there is that will to go. Don't forget, this is one country that waited this far to be able wanting to host the World Cup, and they will go to any length to ensure that their athletes are fit and ready for the. So between now and June, these players can be ready. That is the way I look at the host, talking about Russia. They can go to any length to achieve success, but to win the World Cup, I can tell you no.
They are lucky the group is not that tough, but I don't see them qualifying from that group because their football has really gone down. I can't say now and mention one big name that I would say, oh, it would drive or propel Russia to do well. No, the goalkeeper is the one they've been having since ages. The likes of Ashavin has retired. So Pavlyuchenko, Russia is gone. I don't think Russia will make it. Russia, they will be a good host, but they can't win the World Cup.
Betway, the premium online sports betting experience, is now live in Nigeria. Simply log on to betway.com.ng and bet on your favorite games and leagues right now. With Betway, betting is easy and convenient. There's no need to have cash. Just pay online, and we're open 24/7. Go to betway.com.ng now. Betway, for the love of the game.
Well, Jide, no one seems to be giving Russia a chance to host and win the World Cup. Why is that?
It's going to be difficult. Come on, promise. We've established
with the home crowd behind them.
Yes, but the home crowd will not get on the football pitch. I mean, it's the but really, it can go either ways. I mean, it's seven games per tournament. If you get through the first round, the second round of 16, it's easier said than done because a lot of work goes into it. And a coach can only, in game of football, you only deal with the game that is right in front of you.
That's it.
A coach can only deal with the quality of players that is got in his possession, regardless of how good you are tactically, regardless of how sound you are strategically, regardless of how good you are in terms of motivating or probably being a Jose Mourinho using the human psychology. All this and more will tell on your team because here is the truth. The Russian team in recent times have really not covered themselves up in glory. They've not been fantastic. The last time we saw them play expansive and exciting football leading to a lot of goals was when Gus Hiddink was actually a particular coach. And then it was a lot of feeling, but it's more like beleaguered right now. And a lot of people are thinking twice. So I don't really blame those pundits, but football, like in your words, Promise. I mean, I remember in 2013 or 12 when we all started our bromance on TV, you often say a particular line. Football is like biscuits.
You don't know where we're going to crack. Okay, Jide, I was at the World Cup in Brazil and it was a spectacle. The people, the food, the atmosphere, and most importantly, the football. Germany emerged winners in the end, but all the teams gave a good account of themselves, including the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's now flash back and see the top 10 rated goals at the Brazil 2014 World Cup.
Shaqiri makes the space. Oh, he's scored a wonderful goal. strikes. Oh, extraordinary. Messi kept going. It's Lionel Messi! He scored! Iniesta, oh, lovely ball here to Juanfran. Juanfran, David Villa! Oh, great finish! Netherlands in front, but Australia looking for a quick comeback. They've got it! Tim Cahill! It is David Luiz. Oh, extraordinary goal! Aimed in for Kurtza! Here's Rodriguez. Onto that left foot. Oh, yes! That's a good ball as well. Oh, the header! Oh, my word! Pereira hit by James! Oh, what a goal!
Well, those were beautiful goals scored in Brazil during the last edition of the World Cup in 2014. Jide, which of those goals really caught your eyes?
It's got to be that of James Rodriguez. it's against Uruguay. It's apart from the fact that the game was a keenly contested game. It was a game between rivals of same continent. You know, at the World Cup, you get to play sometimes against your continental mates. But the way he took that goal, that particular goal made
his dance.
Yeah, that dance. It was amazing. Those are the kind of celebrations. We're looking forward to the jubilation at the World Cup too.
Absolutely. Okay, you can be part of this noble show brought to you at courtesy Betway, and when you are part of the program, you are at liberty to win fabulous prizes from our sponsors Betway. The gateway to winning these prizes is simple. Just log on to the Betway site www.betway.com.ng. When you log in, register and become a member of the large Betway community. By simply becoming a registered member, you find yourself in the room of goodies that will come your way from Betway. Log in, register, and play. The site is beautiful and interactive, and you are guaranteed a wonderful experience. Well, that's the show for this week. Many thanks to you out there for watching. Thanks to Babajide Olajide for coming.
Always a pleasure. First of many. Absolutely. Looking forward to the remaining.
That's it. And of course, a special thanks to our sponsors, Betway, for making this show possible. Betway to Russia returns same time next week. And until then, I remain Promiser Forgay. Bye-bye now.